GuitarLessons.com, the #1 name in guitar lessons online.
Hi, welcome to GuitarLessons.com. In this lesson, we're going to talk a little bit about finger picking and some of the basic things you need to know to get started in that style of music. The first thing I'm going to show you is the nails on my right hand. If you'll look at them, they're not too long, but they're just long enough to make a little bit of more of a tag on the strings when you hit them. You don't have to have this if you're going to do finger style guitar. You can have no nails or you can have nails like mine. Just experiment with both and see which tone you like better. If you have the nails, you're probably going to get a little bit more brighter sound. If you don't have nails, you're going to get a little bit darker of a tone. But if you practice a lot, that'll kind of give way to a little bit brighter of a tone because you'll start getting calluses on your fingers. So let's take a look at our right hand first, just the placement. There's two different styles of finger style guitar that you can choose to do. And I'll show you both of them. You can try both of them out and decide for yourself. The first one is more of a folk finger style guitar, and that's when you rest your hand on the guitar or rest your pinky on the guitar to have kind of an anchor point to kind of let you know where you are in your finger picking and it helps you navigate the strings a little bit better. So I'll give you just an example of that. If you watch my right hand, it's anchored here to the body. Okay, now that way is cool and a lot of people do it. It's not wrong, but I prefer the classical method of a finger style guitar playing. That's when you let your hand float freely above the strings. And the main reason I like that is because it doesn't stress your arm out as much. You're a little bit more relaxed instead of pushing down here and you'll feel kind of a stress in your wrist. The classical method where you just bring your hand in and let it kind of relax over the strings, that's a lot more relaxing for you and it's probably a little bit safer for you as far as tendonitis, stuff like that. So one thing you'll notice when I bring my hand in is my arm is almost completely straight. You know how it would be if my hands were just to my side or something. So like a completely relaxed, natural position comes to the guitar strings. And let's get our thumb working here. You'll notice my thumb is pretty much straight as well in a nice relaxed position. So bring your thumb down to the E string. If you have nails, rest the fleshy part of your thumb and the nail right on the string and push down. If you don't have nails, don't worry about it. Just take your thumb and push down as well. Here's the nail again. Here's just the flesh. So you kind of notice a difference in the tone there. And a good way to get going with your thumb is to just alternate between the 6th, the 5th, and the 4th strings with your thumb because those are the strings that you're probably going to be playing the majority of the time with just your thumb. So you can just go ahead and do that a few times to get used to that. If you'll notice, when I play, as soon as I hit that first note, my thumb's coming right back to prepare to get that next note right here. Same thing, next on the G string, it's coming back to prepare, then push down, same thing. Just experiment with that, get to know where those 3 strings are to where you don't even have to think about it. And that's the first step to getting to know how to finger pick, is getting those 3 bass notes with your thumb. Okay, now let's talk about the other 3 fingers on your hand. And we're going to cover 2 different types of strokes with your index finger, middle finger, and 3rd finger. The first one is going to be a free stroke. The second one is going to be what we call a rest stroke. Most of the stuff we're going to be using in the next few lessons will be free strokes, so just keep that in mind. Here you go, if you take a look at my index finger on my right hand, this is a free stroke right here. You're going to come prepare your finger, let's use the G string, just where the fingernail and the flesh meet. Rest it on there, and just pull away. And that's a free stroke. Do the same thing with your middle finger. Prepare it. Make sure you're relaxed. And do the same thing with your ring finger. This is probably the hardest one to get used to because it's probably your weakest finger on your picking hand. Just come down on your E string. Just pull back. Almost like you're just doing that kind of motion right here. Your other fingers should move freely with your finger that's doing the picking as well. Shouldn't be stiff. So let's look at a rest stroke now. The difference between a rest stroke and a free stroke is just that. A rest stroke, if you come here to your G string with your index finger, you're going to prepare just like you did your free stroke, only you're going to back off a little bit with your hand, pull it back some to where you get more pressure on the string, and push through the string and come right next to the other string, and it'll run right into it and it'll rest on the next string. Now you get more volume with a technique like this and a little bit different tone, a little bit harsher, brighter tone to kind of color using your palette of tones that you want to use when you're finger picking. So another good exercise that you can go ahead and work on your rest strokes with is just to alternate between your index and your middle finger, just like this. Doesn't have to be fancy, just make it clean and even. You'll notice when I hit with my index finger, my middle finger is coming right back up there as soon as I play it to prepare to hit the next note. Same thing, index finger is coming to prepare. Okay, so the last thing you need to be aware of to get started doing finger picking is the names of the fingers on the right hand when you're looking at a piece of sheet music. The first one you're going to look at is the thumb, and that's a P. That's indicated by a P. The next one, the index finger, is indicated by an I. The middle finger is going to be an M. And the last finger, the ring finger, is going to be an A. So keep an eye out for that and some sheet music or stuff, some pieces of music that you might be learning, and be aware of that those letters indicate what finger on your right hand that you need to use.